Welcome everybody to my channel. Today we have a pick a card on what's happening in love. We have 4 groups for you to choose from. We have group 1 with the blue rose quartz. We have group 2 with the spirit quartz. We have group 3 with the blue kyanite. We have group 4 with the lithium quartz. So you can pause the video if you need a little bit longer to make your choice, but the timestamps are in the description box and we will get started with group 1. Okay, welcome in group 1. If you chose the blue rose quartz, then this is going to be your reading today for what's happening in love. Just keep in mind that my readings are timeless, so for any point in time that you wish to come back to this in the future, then you are welcome to do so. And also, if I feel called to mention, like if you feel like called or drawn to more than one group, that's definitely can be a thing too, where you can have overlapping qualities, or maybe more than one person or more than one situation, or something like that that may play out over the time. So the first thing that I was kind of getting here was that there's something here about having like a fresh perspective. And I feel like I have had a lot of trouble getting started in today's reading, which I normally don't really have so much trouble. There definitely is like a sense here to just be like a little bit grounded, being very present in the moment, allowing yourself to be human in some way. I kind of get some sort of essence or energy of like having like fresh, like a bunch of fresh cut mint and actually smelling that, or like the smell of a freshly cut or like mowed lawn grass, something like that. It doesn't matter what the plant is, but it's like some sort of freshly cut vegetation that gives off like a very strong, distinct smell. And it's very like fresh and clearing as well sometimes. So whatever that means for people. But I have a channeled message here that I actually had written down before pulling any cards today, so we'll get that out of the way and then we'll continue on with what we've got laid out. So first of all, like what I had was the energy itself felt very like calm. It was like the essence of tranquility, serenity, strong sense of peace, and a strong resonance in your soul, where this person and you could potentially have some sort of like shared past life. And I guess when you sort of get deep into that stuff, I guess a lot of the people that you can kind of be born into any life with, you can have a lot of shared past life history, but not necessarily. So we also had, I think you've already met your person. Yeah, so it feels like the one that seems so fictional to so many of us. And they love you so deeply and are still, I was almost getting like they're still so just in awe of you, but they're also just still so attracted to you, just like when they met you, without a shadow of a doubt. And it was like confirmation on, you know, you could be like very established in life in terms of like being married, having children, having shared goals, businesses, or like maybe less about businesses, but maybe that shared goals or dreams and all that sort of stuff. But also there could actually be a group of you here where it's like a shared solace in your time spent. And I was almost getting the word kinship, where like maybe you're not really, I feel like most of you are together now, but I do feel like there could be like a like very small group here where I keep knocking things over. This is there's a small group of you here where there's something here where it's like you might not actually be together, but you kind of have like a shared understanding and solace in like your time spent, and everything like that. So I'm not really sure how to explain that, because I actually feel like for most of you, you're in 100% together. Yeah. And it's like maybe Spirit's really wanting to draw attention to something in this reading, because it was like trying to navigate that weird having to restart, like, because I ended up restarting this video like 3 times in a row. I didn't get very far in. It was just like small weird little things that were off, and I never do that. I usually just like, you know, hit record and away we go, and that's as far as it ever gets. But it was like having trouble getting started, and then it was like the strong sense, the very distinctive strong sense of like fresh cut plants, whatever they are, and almost like knocking things over and banging things and clapping. And it's like there could be something here about this where it's like very loud, or it needs to have attention drawn to it, or it almost feels clumsy. There's a song Clumsy Love or something as well, where it's very much like you may, I don't know, that clumsy thing, like you may feel like you're a clumsy person, or this person could be clumsy or something like that. And it's like, it's not even a thing, or it's like part of why you're cute. That just had to randomly come through. But the rest of it, the main message there was like Spirit drawing attention to like a confirmation for you in some way, because at times you may wonder, because it feels like you've been together for a long time, or you've known each other for a long time or something like that, and you may have really seen each other sort of grow and change or evolve through like different stages of life, where you like, to you don't really feel like part of who you were. I don't know, it's like I feel like you haven't really changed as a person. I feel like you've definitely evolved or had growth or something, but like maybe physically you've gone through different stages or something like that, and you're like unsure, or I don't really get that. I don't know, I feel like you guys know that you're pretty well bonded pretty tightly, but this person's like in absolute awe of you. So it's like, just in case you were wondering, I don't know if you need confirmation. But we also have the Knight and the Queen here, and when I was first like pulling these cards out, I was almost immediately wanted to be like, you're not quite on the same level. But I think there's something here where it's like, maybe that's how this person sees you. Like they've kind of perceived you from day one as like, maybe they have not really felt on your level, but it's also something here where it's like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's not really like them comparing themselves to, it's more just like that she's so high above me kind of thing. And it's, I don't know the best way to say it. I think it's just that they just like love you so much, and you're like so beautiful to them, and they're in awe of you and everything throughout your life. Like I feel like it's a comprised effort of like, it's everything. It's everything. It's absolutely everything. Like it's not just looks, and it's not just like being a good mother, and it's not just being funny or just being cute. It's like everything. They just couldn't have asked for better. And so there's something here in that knightship of them almost being like very honorable, and like doing what they can to like take care of you. And it was very much like the honorable knight where tales were told in like olden stories kind of thing. And it was very much like they will do what they can to take care of you and protect you and everything like that. Yeah, I'm getting that without a shadow of a doubt again. So we have like loyalty, romance, and chivalry, and a love of honor. That was like basically that main energy I was trying to hit on there. And then with the Queen, this feels very much like light attributes. It's very holistic and like kind of, there's a lot of integrity here, but it very much feels like the light attributes. So it's not like we're trying to ignore the dark attributes, but rather that it just isn't really a thing. So in terms of like being the Queen, there's like this radiating the regal feminine and uses her benevolent authority to protect others. So that it could be like a combined blended energy here for explaining your person, but also just note that we could flip the energy here, and that gender doesn't matter. It's the energies of the people coming together, okay? And so I actually think there's something here in terms of how they may see you or perceive you, where it's like maybe not about being so regal, but just that whole like, you're so beautiful, but that strong benevolent quality as well, like a person who like really takes care of those around them, or their family or children or something like that. And I think it's just like a sweetness. There's like something about you that you're just such a sweet person, or such a beautiful person, or lovely person or something, or they see this side to you. So like, even if you're not necessarily like that all the time, I think they see it in moments where they just, I don't know, they know it's like special or something like that. Okay, so now that we've kind of got that through, we're going to take some tarot cards and see if we get anything else coming here. It very much feels like a match made in heaven, sort of. If this doesn't resonate with you so far, then I would say that a group one is not your group. This feels very heart-centered, heart-focused, like you've already met your person. Like, I think it's that thing of confirmation and knowing without a shadow of a doubt. I think if you were questioning whether this reading was for you or not, then like this group was for you or not, there's a chance that it might not be. So just use your discernment with these readings, kind of as always. Anyway, so we also have the Knight of Wands here as well. There's like a strong optimism. There's a strong attraction. There's a strong wanting to like, so it's weird the way it's coming through because I don't usually get this, but I just see this person is just like, I think it's that strong attraction. It's just still really there for them. And there's something here where maybe like both of you are kind of quite attractive or something like that. It actually makes me sort of see more of an energy of like them still kind of chasing you, them still trying to impress you, them still wanting your affection, or them still wanting to impress you. I think I said that already. Like still putting it on for you in some way. It's like, and I think that they know that they can just be themselves, but I think that there's part of it here. It's just like, I just get like they're so in love with you that they, there's still little things that they might do to kind of show out for you in some way. But there is also a quality here where this person could be, as long as, I feel like they're kind of a bit more principled first, where like maybe they actually, you know, there's certain things that they do that they know they need to do first. But there's also something here where this person could still be kind of like funny or witty, or they could still be, I don't know, I actually think this person could be flirty. This person is like part of this like, you know, long-term attraction that they have towards you. There could be like a lot of chemistry here still. Like I actually think, considering this could be like a very long-term relationship, it's like the chemistry has lasted, and there's something here where they could still be kind of quite flirty with you as well, something like that. So just take what really resonates there for that one, and we'll keep taking cards. This person could also a little bit at times be worried that like if they don't really take care of you, then there's going to be like offers from other people as well. So I don't feel like they really let it get the better of them, but I just think that they're just mindful that they know that they've got a good thing, kind of thing. I think there could also be something here where it's like, I kind of get the sense that they're pretty well developed as a person, but they could, there's something here where when they're with you, it could really make them feel kind of young in their feelings and young in their, I don't know if I want to say maturity is maybe not right, but it's like, maybe they see themselves as like more of a romantic, or like they're wearing, no, that's not right. What is it? Maybe part of it is that whole clumsiness, and I was almost getting like a messiness quality come through, where they may just feel like you've seen all the different parts of them, and that you just still, they're able to be themselves. They feel seen and they feel accepted in who they are as a person, almost in its entirety. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually everything that I have for you today, Group 1. So this was really lovely. Yeah, if this resonates, definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't. With like, comment, all the good things. And I will see you in another reading. Take care of yourselves. Okay, welcome in group two. If you chose the Spirit Quartz, and this is going to be your reading today for what's happening in love. And so I have like a channel message that I wrote down before we get started with the cards. And we had the mention of something about like being dry like a desert, but it was probably more putting me on path to the analogy of like a desert rose. And there was something here to like having like similar qualities to a desert rose. And the more I went into it, I was getting something about like being easy to take care of and really beautiful. And I think desert roses can actually grow in like a lot of different places. Maybe not a super variety of different conditions, but I feel like they're pretty, I mean, they kind of can. So it just really depends. But it's like being very easy to take care of, but also like being really beautiful as well. And there's like a different quality to the beauty where it could touch on being like a little bit exotic. So just whatever that means to you, only take what resonates. But it's like a deep beauty. I don't know how else to explain that. So I was also getting something in terms of like touching on potentially like mediumship, spirituality, esoteric qualities. A knowing understanding could touch on claircognizance, but there was also something here about like seeing into the soul of another, and I literally seen like a vision of like almost as if you were like peering out of like your third eye, but like seeing into another's third eye or something like that as well. And then there's also a message of embodying the fruits of like love / fertility. And there's something here where it's like, even if that doesn't physically fit the bill for you, there could be something here of like, that's how this, like, people perceive you or something as well. And then there was a message of like being ripe for the picking. So it was more or less being like ready for something to come in. And that was everything I had written down. So the cards that we have, I first wanted to call out, we had like 33 and 44 here as well. So I guess like some angel numbers that could be significant for you. But with the sun here, the sun felt significantly important. So there's something here about like the light being like shone on you, or you being the light, or shining the light on other people. But there's like an illumination, and there's like something, you could just be a person who brings that like quality. So you walk into a room, you light up the room. Something about you just like shines, like that sort of energy. But it's also like, I guess with the sun, it can be like happy kind of energy. So it could be like a happy-go-lucky quality here. But there's also something, I can't ignore it. I feel like there is like some sort of like magic quality here. And like we already touched on all the mediumship, spirituality stuff, esoteric stuff. It's like a beauty and a clarity. So like with the sun comes like a clarifying energy as well. You could be a person who transmutes a lot as well. So back on track, what is happening in love? We'll go through the cards first, because I feel like we're just going to keep being pulled off path, and then we'll bring it back afterwards. So we've got call your energy back to you, energy, power, or a depletion. And we've got find those who inspire you to bloom and grow together, community, connection, and reciprocation. And we also have the heart being here as a focus, and the heart is like literally the linking of like two souls. There's like two rings together, doing things together, a little like beautiful energy. There's almost like a little bit of like a wearing rose colored glasses. But I think allowing ourselves to kind of be in it and just experience that space. And then we've also got these other cards here that I pulled where there was like ignoring, creeping, and bad karma. So there could be something here where it's like, part of where, like, what you've had to deal with is kind of some of that stuff, and hence why you're being called to like call your energy back to you. And with the sun, there's that clarifying energy. but that message of like find those who inspire you to bloom and grow together, community, connection, reciprocation, could kind of be like your path out of whatever this is. And there's something where you may feel like you have to go back a step to be able to move forward in some way. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Do we need to read on it? No. There could be some sort of call here for you to do things that are really good for your body in terms of like clarifying, yes, your energy. And I think with the people that I've come through in this group, I don't really need to tell you how to do that. On the odd chance there might be like one person slip through Epsom salt bath, that'll be great. Swim the ocean, something like that. But other than clearing your own energy, there is something here about like eating foods and having drinks that are clarifying for your body in some sense as well. So I'll leave that up to you. I don't feel the need to go into it, but there's also something here about like beautifying yourself, or like adorning yourself, or taking the time to put the finishing touches on small ways that we can kind of refine ourselves in our appearance or something like that. So even if you are on like the flip end of this in terms of like the qualities, like maybe hypothetically, if you're like consider yourself more of like a blokey man or something like that, you're probably not trying to plait your hair, but maybe there's something about having like a fresh haircut or being cleanly shaven, or maybe it's not those things. Maybe it's just like having like a freshly pressed like button-up shirt or something like that. I don't know what that looks like. It's going to be different for everybody, okay? But it's like the small touches, the final touches, kind of like pulling it all together. And it's something here about like allowing yourself to be seen, and allowing yourself to be seen in a light that is kind of attractive and does draw people in. Because I kind of get this group, you may be the type of people that I don't even feel like it's that you don't put effort in out of like not wanting to put effort in, as in like being lazy or something. I feel like some of you, it's just like you're just not really concerned with superficial material things or your appearance or something. But I also feel like some of you, it's maybe more of like a, you know, when you've done that in the past, it's like the moth to a flame analogy, where it's like, you know, you're the light in the dark or something, and then you just attract a million things, and they're not always particularly good things, right? So it's like, I can see how that could have come about, but it's really that reiteration of taking care of your energy and what you allow into your space and everything like that, but still allowing yourself to be who you are, still allowing yourself to be seen in your light, allowing yourself to be beautiful. Okay, so I want to take more cards now that we've kind of got that out of the way, because I feel like that's the thing. It's like, depending how that part kind of goes for you, I guess will determine what like the rest of you know, how things are going to play out. So this heart energy, I'm just going to see if I get more of this before we pull more cards. I just got something about like time's ticking, and there's like people around you who would take your heart like willingly and knowingly. So there's kind of like an energy of you may, I don't know if it's because you don't want to be vulnerable, or you don't see I don't know. I think you know that people want you or after you, or you're attractive or something like that. But there could be something here where you may feel like, I don't know, you're not sure if when it really comes down to it, if people are going to, if you're really going to be like-minded or something. I want more cards. This is not what we're doing. The color pink could be significant as well, which I guess can align with like the upper heart chakra as well, or the higher heart chakra, which is a bit more elevated. It's kind of like softer love, unconditional love, loving ourselves through different seasons. They're saying, I don't know, for some of you, I wonder if you feel like you just have a lot of baggage or something, or people put you on a pedestal, and by the time that like they really get down to it, they love a lot about you, but you're not sure if it's really you that they love, or if, yeah, that whole thing about your light. Okay, so we have Six of Wands. So it's like successful, overcoming obstacles in your path, like being attractive, being notoriously known for overcoming things. There's something here where it's like you're actually seen as like a very strong candidate. There's something here where it's like, I don't know if people necessarily see you as a person who, it's like not about hits that you've taken, and it's not about your past or history, whatever that looks like. Because I understand it's going to be different for everyone. Not everyone's going to super resonate with feeling like they've got a lot of baggage. But there's something here about people see you strong, like with a true strength. And Six of Wands is actually Leo as well. And the sun here is like the planetary ruler of Leo as well. And there's like a courage, like a courageousness here, and the brave heart analogy of like almost having like a pure heart, pure intentions. There could be like a very strong romantic quality to you as well, that I think a lot of people would really love to be in that energy as well. And then we have like the Queen of Wands here as well, very like fiery, passionate, attractive. Yeah, I feel like sassy on a whim, like being very in the moment. Excuse me, I was just having a lot of trouble getting started talking, and I think that that's going to be part of like the message here, because as soon as I like hit on that Queen of Wands energy, that was like the thing that made me kind of choke up a bit. And so that could be that kind of energy that you had in the past that you felt like really drew in people that didn't necessarily have the best intentions or something like that. And there's that reminder to do what you can to call your energy back to you, or clear your energy, or both, probably both to be fair. Anyway, but there's also something here where it's like, I think you've probably either got more people in your corner, or you've learned how to protect yourself better, or there's something here where I think you can kind of see or discern the types of people that you may need to protect yourself from, or the types of positions that you won't allow yourself to be put in again. So when I touch on that, it's like obviously hard to talk about, right? Excuse me. Normally I would edit that out, but I feel like it's literally part of the message, okay? So we also have the 9 of Cups. And so there's something here about it being a wish fulfillment. Like, I think it is a case of many people seeing you as a wish fulfillment. And there could definitely be like multiple people here. But there's also something here about you having your own wish fulfillment come true, or like having that fulfilled in some way, where it's like you are allowed to be this fully embodied person that you are, that is very courageous, that has a lot of light and a lot of like warmth, and maybe not even just the warmth, that like strong magnetism, being allowed to be attractive and funny and all the things, but also, I don't even know if it's funny, it's like being fun. Anyway, but also having like good boundaries or something, or allowing yourself to have a key point of separation between you and other that is very good for you. And part of that is like a wish fulfillment here as well. And I think that you'll see that come to fruition. I think it's like a much more developed part of yourself that maybe that was like the missing piece before that you didn't have. So it's like maybe it almost was tucked into your shadow to be this person who you are. And maybe, I feel like, you know, we talked about you could be a group that transmutes a lot as well. Or you could have done some type of like shadow work or something like that. Part of this could have just been like a part of our like life lessons, karmic sort of stuff playing out in terms of like just developing us into the character of who we are and meant to be. But I do feel like you could have placed a lot of these really strong, attractive qualities about yourself into some type of like shadow energy, to not really allow yourself to be seen fully or properly or something like that. And then you've maybe in some ways blamed that part of yourself for what you experienced. And there's something here where it's like really just the missing link here was just this kind of protective quality in some sense. And it's like, now you've got that, it feels like the last part of the puzzle, the last piece of the puzzle. And I think that that's really going to unlock a lot of good things for you. So it's like that discernment and that allowing yourself to be protective. And it doesn't matter if that kind of makes other people uncomfortable. So it's like, you don't have to be super friendly and polite to people if they're making you feel uncomfortable, kind of thing, right? I don't want to really go into that too much more. But back to what is happening in love. Okay, so we got that all out of the way. Obviously, it's very dependent on like how we're feeling, what we're experiencing in the inner world, what we're allowing ourselves on the external. I think this is very self-governed. I do want to take another what's the tea card before we move on. I just feel like I've been having trouble speaking and sniffling heaps. Okay, you guys could be attracting in some type of, I wanted to say like a very built up counterpart. Like someone who's got their stuff sorted in life and they're successful and have done well. And I feel like they actually share a lot of like qualities that we have already spoken about you. I feel like this person's quite established and they're probably pretty good on their feet, on their toes kind of thing. And I think, yeah, I feel like you guys could have like some shared experiences, but I feel like they've seen you or kept an eye on you or something. And we've got like the hustling card here with like making it rain, focused on money, getting it right. And we also have like, it's like double mentions in terms of like money. There could be like a successful energy here. This person could be like kind of money orientated or good with money or something like that, or just good at like randomly creating money in whatever it is that they do. I don't feel like it's random or by accident that they do it. I feel like they just may have a specific knack for it. There is something here too where they may have seen you doing something that to them was kind of considered in the same energy as hustling. So even if all it was that maybe you're not in a stage of life of like really making a lot of money or something, I don't know what that's going to look like for everyone. They could have just seen you exercising at a time when no one else was exercising, like, you know, specifically over the Christmas period or New Year's or something like that. I feel like there's a lot of people that like stop all of that for the holidays and they're spending time with family. Maybe they're overindulging and taking it easy, taking a break, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. But it's like this person seeing some type of quality in you that they recognized in that kind of like hustling, being committed, showing up every day, kind of dedicated, like you are going to really, you're an active participant in your own life kind of thing. But I was also getting, there's a song, something is a sign of a female hustler or something. I can't remember what it is. I think it could be like a Beyonce song or something. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can look it up afterwards and I will link it. Yeah, but I feel like this is a person that you would have accidentally gained their attention. So I understand that like it's probably pretty typical that you naturally kind of like people just shine a lot of attention on you in a sense, because I don't feel like you really do anything for it. But this is a person who maybe doesn't really notice a lot of people because they are either quite busy or the things that would grab their attention are of a lot higher quality in some sense or something like that. Like there's a higher peak of interest, a higher sense of attractiveness or intrigue or something. Or at the same time as well, that equal respect and appreciation for a person who will also do the hustle, okay? So what else do we have? All right, there we go. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. This actually wanted to come out before as well, but it was like not fully coming out. This person could just see you as like very attractive, quite independent. I want to actually say for this group, I think that they've seen you in some way that they perceive to be kind of put together. So I don't know if this necessarily means new clothes, but like your clothes are in good condition, or they've seen you put yourself together in a way that looks clean cut, or like you may have brushed your hair, or you may be physically fit. I actually think for a lot of you, it could be like a sign of health or looking good. There could be like a really earthly beauty here. You could just be very physically attractive. I just have to call it, right? There could be something here where it's like, I just keep getting that Beyonce song and it's not even coming through in the full words either. I just keep kind of getting the tune and like the word hustler, like female hustler. Something is a sign of a female hustler or something like that. So they could see you as like, yeah, independent or self-made, or like, even if they don't necessarily see you as self-made, but they see you as like taking care of you. Like you don't need anybody else, and like maybe there is nobody else in the picture and you're still doing the hustle, and they really appreciate and respect that, or something like that. Because I think there's something where this person is maybe used to seeing counterparts that are kind of at the level that they're at because of who they're with, or something like that. And there's something about you and your quality that they see is separate, and it's not the same. So you've definitely somehow randomly piqued or caught this person's interest. I'm not sure if they're really going to make a move, or if it's just like an example of the type of attraction. I do feel like if they're coming up here, this is like what's happening in love, right? So this could be an example of the type of people that you are attracting. But this could also, like, I was just hearing the word wealthy, okay? So just take what resonates. We've also got the Ace of Spokes, which is actually the Ace of Cups. Very heart-focused, like emotionally available, supportive people, or people who have that like shared, what is it, like quality of fulfillment. I feel like there's something here where it's, oh, there's another card underneath where you're like really pouring into you. And we've got like the 10 of Wands behind it. So it's like, part of it is like this could be part of that hustling energy. You having a level of like self-respect or self-love, or challenging something as an act of self-love, could really put you on like a long road, or where you have to carry more of the weight or something like that. It's again coming back to that thing where it's like, you're not really feeding off someone else. You're not really like having an easy journey because you just chose to attach yourself to somebody. It's like, for you, maybe choosing to go independent looks great on the surface or something, but they know underneath it's like being kind of hard work or something. Like it doesn't just, this type of like beauty or character, or this hustle that they're seeing in you, whatever this same shade quality is, that they see in you, that they also have, there's like a true appreciation for it, because they know that that doesn't just like shape up overnight kind of thing. This is something that's like really developed. There's a strong sense of like nous and character here that just not everybody has. A lot of people would kind of sell themselves short or sell themselves out in some sort of way, and you've chosen yourself, or you've chosen self-respect, or you've chosen like a road that would typically be harder in some sense. But I can't deny they do see you as like very attractive. And there could be something here too where they kind of recognize, it's, I just keep getting like a like recognizes like, where it's like this harder path that you chose is part of what's made you attractive. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just the fact that you've chosen to put the work into something. But it feels like, I don't know, it's like you're not letting life put your fire out, or something like that, right? This is like a person who life cannot break, okay? All right, so we also have 10 of Swords, Tower, and 10 of Cups. All right, so you could have been a person that has experienced like a lot of loss, or you had to walk away from something, or someone walked away from you, or I do genuinely get it as like a feeling of like being left for dead in like when I read this card sometimes for 10 of Swords. But it can also be like a very significant betrayal or something like that, right? It's essentially an ending, okay? But it's like with the Tower here, it was like some sort of ending could have like really shook up your world, or some sort of betrayal could have really shook up your world to the point that it like, I almost see, sometimes I get this kind of in readings, the best way I can explain it is maybe like a Jenga tower, you know, like the kids game Jenga, where they have the blocks that they like build on top of each other, and then they kind of continue, when you run out of blocks to build on top of each other, you have to kind of take some out of the lower parts of the tower to continue to build the tower further and taller. And it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of what I'm getting is like, you've sat there and you've like built this tower all the way up, and then all of a sudden something happens and it all kind of comes like literally just obliterated, like just knocked down. It was like almost, I don't even see it as like you doing it. I see it as like the universe doing it through whatever has happened, where it's like you've been busy building this tower, build, and like maybe a shared building. I'm not sure what that looks like for you. And then it's like whatever happened, this tower moment really brought it to a head. And it was just like everything completely turned upside down. Like your whole life was reorganized. I kind of get the energy of like, let's taking all the blocks out of here and we're putting some here and some here and some here. And like your life is no longer representative of what it used to look like, right? Like it's very different. Like you might live in a different area. You may have fit some type of different like demographic status. You may have different lifestyles and hobbies. You may have different financial status. I don't even know what it looks like because it could look like so many different things. Yeah, okay, so we get the point of that and we're just going to leave that. But it was like a reorganization. It would have felt rough. It would have felt unrecognizable, but it's like a total reorganization of life, starting from the ground up, but actually building something that's more like you. And then it's like part of this could have been like this ending in this tower moment was with a family unit for sure. Like I could have you know, single parents or people that have gone through separation or something in this group. But there's also an essence here of like that tower clearing the way and reorganizing your life in such a way that you are able to experience the 10 of Cups. And I don't know if that necessarily means that you have to have another person here. I feel like there's something here where you may have created the 10 of Cups, that fulfillment, supportive group, community or support network or something like that, or people that just really pour into each other. It's like a beautiful life, and you may have done that yourself without a partner, because there's again that reference to the strong transmutation energy, but there's also something here about like a spiritual, I don't know if I want to call it like a currency or dowry or something. It's not strong, it's not for everybody, but I feel like there's something here in which the way that your life has been rebuilt with like spirit taking care of you in one way. And that may be like not resonant. Like a lot of you may be like, well, that doesn't really make sense, or I just don't see how that's kind of possible. And that would be like very fair, because I think it's like a very behind the scenes thing where spirit has maybe we think to ourselves, for me to have a good life, I would like 100K. Spirit doesn't necessarily just hand you 100K. Maybe they do. I don't know what that looks like. But I think what it could be is that there's like a series of little stackable moments that are all like really beautiful moments, and they kind of add them up on top of each other. And like the more that they stack them up, all of a sudden there's this like big, beautiful new tower that's like actually brings peace or good times or something like that. Safety, like emotional safety or something like that as well. So take what resonates, but also we do have like 10. We also had the 10 of Wands, so that's 3 10s. So 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. The only thing that we don't have here is 10 of Pentacles, and I feel like that's probably something that could come later, or that like coming into a partnership could help complete. Or it's like you maybe are still writing part of your journey here. We've also got Queen of Wands and Queen of Pentacles. So it's like 2 queens out of 4 and 3 sets of 10 out of 4. You're pretty far along in your journey here in some way before you have like, I guess, being at a stage of like kind of becoming the Empress, where you kind of are the person that has it all or is super holistically well-rounded. But there is also that the 10s is like the series of like life events. So, I mean, with the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Wands, could literally just be the endings and the long journeys around those like beautiful kind of community or family feelings, or whatever that was that I was kind of touching on or getting. Okay, so I feel like this has been pretty good, but what's happening in love is it feels very like self-directed and self-focused, and like there's a lot kind of up to chance here that could kind of change over time depending on like what you allow for yourself and what you won't allow for yourself. And I think that this would make a lot of sense to the type of energy for some of the messages that I was getting come through for this reading. But I still feel like I would like a little bit more clarification for you, because sometimes they do just throw out like other messages to help paint the picture so that we can understand where we're at or what could come in. So we have, I'm in divine flow and move in alignment with yin and yang, unity, balanced energy, and manifestation. So it's like very much you becoming quite balanced in your masculine and feminine within yourself. So it's like you have come into union with yourself, which is actually perfect, because I feel like any good relationship needs to be built of a foundation where we're not needing from other people, where we can kind of complement each other coming together. And I don't know if that's true or correct, but it's kind of what I'm getting for this reading. So in terms of like a channeled feeling, I think what I'm trying to say is that it will be a lot more beautiful when two people come together from that energy. All right. And that could come back to that thing that that person recognized within you, where it's like maybe they've recognized you being in union with yourself, or you being balanced in your masculine and feminine. Okay. So we also have Dark Night of the Soul, Transformation, Awakening, and Tower. So that's like confirmation on everything we kind of just talked about. But that rebuilding in life and that new stage of life. And there's also a little message here in the book I've never really felt called to read, but I will. It says, she dug until she caverns in found, no, wait a minute. She dug caverns in her heart until she found the light. Yeah. I think there's probably been like a lot of internal stuff that had to go on here, or like a lot of situations, or even one specific kind of bigger situation that really had to unfold here that could have potentially really challenged self-love or self-worth issues in some way. It might not really be about that, but the fact, it says, I need to read it again. It says, she dug caverns in her heart until she found the light. You may not have just seen your own light. You may just not have seen your value as a person on your own, complete, not needing a person. All right. But like also she's super beautiful too. So I think this is something that you're well and truly on your way to seeing and understanding if you haven't already, okay? And I think this is how other people perceive you. I think this is one of those things where it's like people have probably, for the most part of your life, seen this in you. And I understand not everyone does, because like we can show up in a myriad of ways in different experiences to people being a mirror, or, you know, maybe like one person, they see a snippet of 30 seconds of us and we show up in the light that could potentially come almost act like in a karmic way or a lesson teaching way or something. But I feel like most people that come into contact with you have always seen this about you. And there could be this quality here where it's like this new light that you're showing up in. It is that like sense of self-worth where that is like more crystallized in you, or you recognize it yourself, or you embody it. But there's also this like divine quality, intuitive aspect, or allowing yourself to be in feminine. So for a lot of you, it doesn't matter what it looks like, because it could have been different for everyone, but for some of you, you may resonate with having never allowed yourself to be in a feminine energy. And so when you did, that is just the being and receiving, something like that, okay? Then that could have kind of turned your beauty up as well, or like amplified it in some way. All right, do we feel like we still need more? We're still not really happening. Like we are hitting a lot here on what seems like what's happening in love is very much like self-love, directed focus. What else do we need? I feel like I just want to keep taking cards from this deck. Maybe just one more from this, and then we'll see if we can get a little bit more about maybe like different people or something. Not that many. Okay. Just don't want to spend too much longer here. Okay, so we have, if you're in need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees, spirit of the tree, nature, priestess, inner peace. Some of you could work with like nature spirits. Some of you may meditate with the trees and kind of bridge that energetic connection with the trees. And that would be a strong source of wisdom from you if you're looking for further answers or something like that. All right, so let's see what we can get. Is there something here about like what it might look like when we get there, or are we taking it too far? Or okay, yeah, Knight of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles. I think there's a lot of people that would like readily recognize your value that do want to put the effort in, and they may not be completely developed in their character or their life just yet, but they are people that would probably want to take care of you, and kind of be hardworking or have something in terms of like material wealth to actually provide you with, so that you can kind of remain in feminine energy in some way. But also part of it is that you are independent and you're not needing anyone. So you've got more people showing up that want to give to you, because you're not needy or something, but they also see your value emanate out of you or something like that. There's also that I can't ignore the reiteration of being like physically attractive as well. And I have the lovers at the bottom of the deck, so yeah, and it came out again. I'm just gonna turn it upside down because I don't want to get YouTube say anything about it. But okay, so we have Two of Wands, Ace of Swords. For some of you, I actually just don't know if you're actually ready. Like, I think you might actually know that you're not that interested. Like, you're unsure. Like, you're trying to make that decision. Maybe you're, like, really comfortable or kind of safe where you are right now. And you're kind of in two minds, or, like, making that choice to actually, like, maybe it's, like, the energy of, like, staring out the window, seeing what's off in the distance or what else what else could be out there kind of thing. Are you ready to kind of take a step towards it? And there's some sort of truth that will be, like, highlighted. It's like a clarity. Maybe with taking this time to almost envision it or imagine it, it's like a being more open to it, gives you that self-directed kind of spark to propel something forward, in which you'll see I think there'll be like a moment of clarity or something here that will kind of be like a unlocking of a gate for you, so that you can move past it after that. All right. I don't know if I can continue to trying to delve into things here that are just not showing up in the cards. But I think that this would really resonate for you if if that makes sense to you and that resonates. I think that you would understand that and it would feel right in your soul. Like, maybe you're not quite ready or something like that. But hopefully this has been really helpful to you guys. If you resonate with these videos, definitely subscribe if you haven't, and leave a like or comment and share whatever you're comfortable with in the comments anyway. And take care of yourself. I'll see you in another one. Why is this not? Okay, welcome in group 3. If you chose the blue Kyanite, then this will be your reading today for what's happening in love. And the one message I did just kind of hear in my mind was, it doesn't hurt to take it slow. I did have some channel messages that I had written out before pulling cards for the reading today, before starting the video. So I'll just kind of run through them and then we'll go through all of the cards together. So I had themes of freedom of expression, and something here about your authenticity coming first, or authenticity as a value coming first. A bold person, fragile at times, but powerful in a lot of ways, very beautiful. Could be more mature or experienced or physically older, etc. but like a sense of bliss or peaceful feeling in energy. I actually feel like this is actually your person. So that's really good to get that straight off the bat, that clarity, because there definitely was that whole thing about like you taking it slow. And when I was writing out those, I guess what I just read out for the channel messages, I actually thought that it might have been your energy, but it was confirmation that this is your person. So if it sounds like you, chances are it's actually not. You could just be kind of similar people, which would be even better because it would make a lot of sense. You could appreciate those shared aspects within yourselves. But I'll go through the cards. We're very much going to work through this like one card at a time if you're like new to my channel, or I guess this type of the way that I read, because I'm not just doing like Celtic crosses for like, you know, typical classical card spreads that you may see with different people. I very much read intuitively, and like I'm picking up on energy and getting messages come through sometimes as I go as well. So we do have, I feel the need to start with Virgo. So definitely could be a zodiacal placement. It doesn't have to be your sun sign. Could just be, you know, one of your other placements, like a moon or rising sign for you. But it actually doesn't have to be a make or break for this part of the reading. So this could be representative of like a 6th house energy as well, in terms of like your day-to-day routine, your tasks, maybe like, you know, doing things around the house and going to work and coming home, taking care of your health, exercising, that sort of thing. But if I put that all aside, now that that's been read out, we also have the restorers and search for external versus internal. So Virgo to me is very much like an introspective energy, right? We definitely touch on analytical themes, a little bit observant, a strong sense of like self-awareness, and touching on themes of like inner critic as well, as being service orientated. So we also did have one of the cards that we pulled, the Servant Queen, where you are worthy of beautiful things, divine, magnetic, valuable. But I feel like what it mostly was is like you are worthy of service as well, and you are not worthy like just through service. Like it's not the only way in which you are worthy, if that makes sense. Okay, so you are still just as worthy even if you are not of service to other people. All right, you know, touching on that kind of martyr-esque type theme that can sometimes come through with Virgo as well, being I guess the servant or the nurturer, the maiden type of energy. There definitely can be like a strong feminine or fertile energy here as well, but like maybe a submissive kind of quality here. I actually heard the word malleable, so it's like here where you could be maybe a little bit like easily influenced or something, or maybe you are still kind of younger, so you're still really like straightening out or learning who you are as a person as you grow through your experiences and whatnot. There is also something here, and just keep in mind that these energies could be flipped, but I do feel for most of you that those channel messages we read out at the start are the person that we're talking about, and in the card spread is more relative to you and yourself, and we'll kind of link that up as we go. So I definitely feel like you could be like very beautiful, like very physically attractive as well. And even if you don't necessarily resonate with being like younger in some quality, it could just be like being of good health in some way as well. And so there very much could have been like this. I don't know if this is what's happening in love. So like you're currently going through like a time of restoring some sort of inner realm or sense of self here as well, as in like your self-worth. And we also have the things that almost broke me were the things that most awoke me. And we're talking about touching on themes of like resilience, nirvana, and self-appreciation, as well as growing pains with healing, patience, and unconscious. Yeah. So definitely a lot happening here that you have been going through or going through at the moment. And yeah, it's just a reminder that it's all a process, okay? So I actually feel like for the most part, a lot of you, I think that you've pretty well got this all wrapped up. I actually think that this is something here that like you already know or you've already been doing. I want to take more cards now that we're here. I just heard the name Mike, so that could be resonant for some of you, but also I'm using the Stranger Things tarot deck, and one of the characters' name is Mike. I think it's Mike Wheeler. Yeah, and he is pretty courageous. I think he might come through. I'll see if I can find the card so that we can keep reading. I think he may come through as like Temperance, as like Sagittarius. So we will, he's really good at connecting like the earth and the more ethereal qualities. Just see if this, sorry, it's like a really thick, awkward deck to kind of try to get through like this. Like the cards don't really like slide against each other. But we will hopefully find something. Usually when this happens, it's because I haven't hit on some sort of point, and then, you know, right after I hit the point, I find it. But we have the Two of Swords, so you could be like at a crossroads. You could be at a point of like making a decision, not knowing what way to go. This could look like two different people, but it could also look like, do I even want to be in a relationship versus do I want to? There could also just be something here where it's like, it's just a general crossroads in some type of like life decision that has actually nothing to do. Yeah, here's Temperance. All right, so it's yeah, I feel like that was confirmation, some sort of just life decision in general. So take what resonates there for that. But yeah, so touching on, we have Virgo, we have Sagittarius. I feel like we're going to leave that out there, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so there could be something here where you're just like very grounded throughout like the lessons. I can't help but think that there could be like a lot of spiritual qualities here as well. So take what resonates for this bit, because I realize not everybody like identifies with necessarily being or associating themselves with being like a spiritual person, I guess. But it doesn't mean that you're not. There is something here where it could be like a touch of like mystery or something mystical as well. But there could be something here, it's like you're wondering, it's like you're putting things together that don't seemingly go together, or you're like very integrated, where it's like you give yourself permission to be like wily in moments that's like maybe sometimes unconventional, but like kind of like really being able to back it up in the way that comes together. So okay, this crossroads decision could have been something that's already played out, where I don't know, there's different people in different parts of the timeline here. So for some of you, it's like you made a decision to start again, and it's been a bit of a hard journey, or it's been like a burdensome journey, or a long, like, it could have just been like a hard road travel, okay? And that very much could fit in with like the themes of like the things that broke me, or almost broke me, were the things that most awoke me, right? For some of you, it could be like still currently in this. And I'm just going to keep taking cards and see what else we get. Okay, the big house. What is that? 5, 6, 16, and 5 of baskets, pentacles. I'm just going to quickly get reference on the big house. Is the big house, is it like tower or? Could have just been like when you chose to walk away from whatever this was, it meant like leaving a family home, or it meant like leaving a solid foundation structure or something like that, to be on your own or in between houses or something like that, or to maybe not have, like maybe you had like baseline sort of needs met, but not really, like not to a point to thrive. Like it could be, to be fair, most of the time it's actually kind of like representation of the opposite, like having a period of like being isolated, being in between places, or not having the best health, or maybe not having like a lot financially for a while. So you may have like as part of this decision and this new start, and it was like, could have been really hard. There you could have been experiencing different versions of hardships depending on your individual journey coming through as part of the collective for this group. But I do, okay, yeah, the tower. Okay, cool. Oak, yeah. All right. So, with that being said, I think it's important to acknowledge something about the foundation of like whatever this tower was built on as to like why it didn't work out, as to why we ended up being in this position. Something foundationally just wasn't quite right, and it could have been bleeding into this like maybe themes of not having rock solid self-worth, which, to be fair, I feel like a lot of people go through that journey in life anyway, so I don't think it would be an excuse to beat yourself up over it more than you already have, because there could be themes of having a strong inner critic there or something like that that may almost like a self-perceived judgment or something as well. So we'll just kind of put that to the side and park it, because I do feel like there is that level of like self-awareness and development here that's going on to a point where it's maybe not such an issue now the same way that it was back then. And I actually think that like you could be prone to feeling like this is a real potential to play out again, but you're actually not taking stock of like how far you've come, okay, in that time, because it could have been quite the journey. You could have like actually covered a lot more here in your progress than what you realize. So we also have like 10 of Pentacles kind of dropped out of the bottom of this deck as I was taking it. I think it's just like you just have, I think you're going to be like really comfortable or something like that. Like you could have like sometimes it's legacy, sometimes it's community, and sometimes it's just like an abundance, right? Very much could be an abundance, and part of this abundance could be people who will kind of help teach you things like boundaries, or it could be something here where it's like ways in which you are able to protect yourself in the future through this journey. It's like maybe I do feel like there could have been some type of inheritance here for some of you, and this definitely could have been a physical inheritance, but for some of you it's like a spiritual inheritance in some sense as well, and that could look like the better, stronger ability to protect yourself in some way. And I think there's something here where it's like once that, I think this has already happened, it's like that ability to protect yourself. I think you're realizing that you are a person who is kind of people are drawn into, like many people are drawn into in some sense, right? And if it's not particularly that people are like, so many people are drawn into, it's like the fact that someone is drawn into you causes those around them that could be in potentially like negative or toxic kind of relationships. I just need to show you, we've got the devil on the bottom, which can be like toxic attachments and unhealthy relationships and stuff, or just like a general sense of feeling stuck in codependent dynamics and whatnot. So you could have really won the attention or the affection of just like one person, even if you're not actually ever been in a relationship with them, but someone liked you, and then like kind of, you know, it only takes like one or two people that are interested in them who are not really perceiving things on a level of, oh, they are just not interested in me. So maybe we're like not really meant to be, or maybe I'm not really my full developed person who would be at their level to bring them in. They just kind of look at you as like the problem, and they kind of put you on, it's like you're being pedestaled by people sometimes. And through that, there can be that kind of frowned upon energy where people want to put you in like, projects you like into weird dynamics or positions that you don't really want to be in. It like kind of makes it awkward for you to just exist where you do, without having some type of kind of protective barrier, defense, boundaries or something like that in place. And part of this actually could be education as well. So just kind of take what resonates with that one, because it doesn't have to necessarily be those exact themes, although I do get that would be very specific for some of the people coming through. There's also something here where it's like, because you are in some type of elevated position, yeah, people want to poke holes in it. But there's also something here where maybe something, I do part of like Seven of Wands sometimes get it as like a spiritual protection as well. And that could be part of like this sort of inheritance that like can be very different for everybody. So it's like something that you are kind of gifted with, even if it's not like heaps of money, is something where you have a strong enough sense to use it in a way that's kind of protective for you. And then I think once you realize the value of that being protected, or it's like you found the ability to keep yourself safe. So it's like once you've found the ability to keep yourself safe or to keep people's attention, I don't know if you really keep people's attention off you, but you've been able to stop it kind of affecting you maybe. I very much get like a sacral chakra, solar plexus kind of energy. It's like freedom of expression and self-worth. But being able to do it in a way that you're not letting other people's kind of affect you to a point you have to shut it down, right? So it could be something for some people here as well. But it's like, there's like this new beginning initiatory energy. Some of you could have, it's like through this period of restoration, it's like your health has come back, and then it's like you have more like energy, you have more vitality, you have more capacity to be able to kind of like be a bit more mindful of things going on around you, and to be able to kind of discern between different like situations that may pop up or different people. Or it could also be something here too, where it's like through this journey that you've experienced so far, you recognize more readily. I think that's actually probably a big part of it. When other people kind of put you in these positions, I think. So there's something here where it's actually given you like some sort of new sense of like lease on life, or sense of freedom, and how you navigate life, where it's almost like permission. There's something here too where there's like, maybe part of this learning to protect yourself has become somehow woven into a new driving factor or passion for you in life as well. So that's going to look different for everybody. And it could be very health focused as well. So something here where it's like really focusing on your health and your well-being and putting yourself first, and like your self-worth. I think there's something here where it's like maybe for part of you seeing yourself, feeling connected with your sense of self-worth, means that you really pour into yourself, and it means that you like really honor your body, and it means that you really take care of yourself in really good ways that maybe you haven't been able to before. And so it's like the more that you do that, the stronger sense of worth that you have, and that in itself is kind of like protective, because it's like you're very self-validating. You don't need the validation of others, and that in a sense automatically kind of just makes a lot of the heat you may perceive as like null and void in some way. And that allows this ability to just kind of start over with a new sense of adventure and freedom in life that you may not have felt before, especially if we were worried about others' expectations and whatnot, right? It's very freeing to not have to worry about that. So it's like a new, stronger sense of like sovereignty or something there as well, which is really great. Okay, so we want to take more cards, because we already kind of talked about like a person, and we've been talking a little bit about like what's been happening for you, maybe where you're at, and you know, some of the part of the journey that you've been on. But I want to get more about either like how this may come together, or more about this person. Yeah, so it could be something here where this is like actually a person that it could like, we have Seven of Pentacles, which is typically like a very slow card, right? As in something that takes like a long time to kind of come to fruition. And we did get that very first initial message as being something about like it doesn't hurt to take it slow. And so it's like something here where if you shortcut the process, if you don't do part of the foundational kind of getting things right or setting things up for success, then like it actually may never become like get to a point of being fruitful, or it may like have this like really strong fast growth at the start, but then it like maybe like the tree's roots aren't like, you know, developed or deep enough into the earth or strong enough or something, so that like when a storm comes through, the tree is uprooted and it kind of, you know, never really gets to the point of like longevity. But we also have like the Six of Cups here, which can be like a reunion, and it can be like a growing together through, or a person from childhood. It can be, I don't know, this could be like a person who is coming back from the past as well. There could be something here that's like touching on particularly like sentimental and nostalgic energies, or things that it's like core memory embedment. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like Scorpio. I think it is Sun and Scorpio, but it's like it can be like happiness, and it can be very fond memories. So it either is a person that you already have had these moments with that can kind of come back, or it's a person that you're like really creating this with, but it may take like a very long time to kind of come together. And I think that you would be very well aware of that, or kind of just like being very free, where we're not really asking for a lot, but then it kind of comes together in a way that is like people nurturing or pouring into each other over a long period or something like that. Okay, so Seven of Pentacles, Six of Cups. What else do we have here about this person or how it comes together? Let's see. I mean, so we also could just have like a Scorpio energy as well. So we've had Virgo, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Mars. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars in Vedic as well. So, and the Empress. So Taurus and Libra. Yeah, okay. There's something here too where you may have kind of leveled up to a different stage or phase of life where you've become really well-rounded over this time. And so that's like part of how this has really come together. It's like, I do have to say, for some of you, if you specifically are like a single parent, then I would say that the other parent would still hold, you know, a fire for you. Like, the fire has never gone out, okay? But we're also going to park that to the side because it's not necessarily the situation for everybody. There is something here where, yeah, people have watched you go through different stages of life, and that could look like having children and whatnot. And maybe they're seeing like a different side to you or a different quality to you that was underdeveloped before, or something that now has kind of brought it full circle for them to know that there's something about you that's like a big green tick or checks a box. But there's also something here where this person could see you as a person that they would love to have a family with, or that you would make like a really good long-term counterpart, like almost touching on divine counterpart as well, where I almost get like ticks all the boxes as well, okay? So it's not just like one box, but it's like all the boxes. Yeah, it's definitely long term. There's a lot here about long term, but I also feel like it could take a while to come together. But also you could have really known each other for a long time as well. Yeah. I don't know how forward or risky this person would be in terms of like approaching or initiating something, like kicking off, because we do have like the Ace of Wands here, but it might be like a slow burn energy. I think it's something where they might be a little bit, what is it? Conservational? No. Conservative. They could be quite conservative in terms of like, they may not want to come on strong. They maybe just want to be respectful of your boundaries, or they may not want to make you feel awkward. I think they just care more about your well-being, or not wanting to scare you away, or not pushing something too fast when like you may not be ready for it. And it almost makes me think that it would probably be better if they would declare it and take the initiative. But there could also be something here where they've seen you, double confirmation on Virgo, by the way. There could be something here where they've like really seen you stepping into a new found sense of freedom that maybe you're totally not acclimated yet to this sense of freedom either. Like, if we're still going through that healing phase. And so I think there's actually like a bit more like a reasonable or practical sense to them not wanting to initiate something too soon. And they could be scared that if they did, that it would actually send you packing or withdrawing from the relationship, the connection, or kind of back into yourself out of like some sort of new social, you know, maybe you haven't been social for a while. Maybe you were spending time on your own or something like that. And so it's like you're being more social now. And the last thing they want to do is kind of do something that they feel may send you backwards, especially if you've like come a long way, or it's been a lot of work in the day-to-day that you've had to put in over time to get to the point of where you are now. Okay, to get to a point where you may have more of an emotional availability, or to get to a point where you may be more open to a long-lasting connection, or something that you haven't been for a long time. Like there could have been something here where it's like everything that's kind of happened up to this point has been all the ingredients that had to come together, and it took a long time to get to this point, but it was really like all the foundational things being put together in such a way that it could allow like real, true, prosperous, it's like that stable, secure, long-term growth. There's something here where it's like very good, very solid. But part of this was like you seeing your own sense of self-worth, right? And so for some of you, you may not necessarily over-identify or associate yourself with a person who, like you could just, there is that humble quality, right, with Virgo, where maybe you didn't really think of yourself as a person who had like low self-esteem. Maybe you were just like more modest or more humble in the way that you approach life. And there's something here where maybe you are too modest, or you have been too humble, and you really didn't have to be. There's also something here with like temperance in putting bets on yourself as well. I think you're being called to put more bets on yourself, or put more stock into like almost like a risk. Maybe this time made you more careful. We did have that conservative energy come through. So there's something here where like maybe you've been careful or conservative for so long that you just don't realize that like your version of taking a risk would be like a normal choice for most people any other given day of the week. So there's something here where it's like maybe you've not given yourself permission to like make or take any perceived risk, even if they're actually very small. So it's like here where you probably have like a lot more freedom or give in making and taking safe, calculated risks that are actually not going to negatively affect you. But always like use your own discernment and stuff, right? Like at the end of the day, you know what you are and aren't comfortable with, and I would never encourage you to take risks into a situation that would not be good for you. So we do need to kind of be measured when we look at that, but I think you need to back yourself up a bit more, or like take bets on yourself, like your ability to handle things, because I think you're actually better than you think. But I understand there was like that mention of that being fragile at times, but being very powerful in a lot of ways. So yeah, I can see how that could come together for you. All right, so long-term things, different stages of life. Can we get more what's happening in love with this person? I think they just don't really want to push it with you, but let's see. Four of Cups. Yeah, you may get a little bit bored waiting or something, yeah, for this to come in, but it definitely gives me the vibes of it could be everything. And I think that you'd be well taken care of and looked after. And if it's not necessarily like being well taken care of, there's like a strong sense of like independence there as well, or like being able to have the things that you want. I just think that it's like not having this relationship is not going to ask you to compromise the things that you would naturally normally want for yourself if you were on your own, which I think is like really powerful in terms of some of the things that you may have come out of. Like you're not going to be asked to compromise on, the normal like foods that you would buy for yourself or something like that. Like I know that seems kind of like rudimentary or whatnot. It could be in terms of clothes and whatnot. But I don't feel like you're a group that I'm enabling by kind of saying to you that it's okay for you to buy the makeup that you want, or it's okay for you to buy this or that. Like if it's something you would do when you're on your own without that person, it's okay for you to do that. Getting something about footing the bill as well. So like it's okay for you to spend money the way that you would spend money, okay? And then if that person wasn't okay with that, well then they would have to kind of recognize within themselves whether that's like a relationship that they would be okay with or not, like a quality within another person, because it seems like quite actually controlling or degrading to tell another person how they can and can't kind of make those choices, especially when they're very like baseline. Okay, sorry guys, I just had the camera cut out. So getting back on track, I just think that this person, not only would they make sure that there's more than enough space for you to just be your own individual independent person within the relationship, they would actually really appreciate that about you. And I think there's something here where they just see you as really having created happiness in your own life, and that's like a massive wish fulfillment for them, but also being a person who, when you come together, you can really like share in that happiness and the good things with each other here as well. And I think that they would continue to put a lot of work in to the relationship over the long term here as well. So it's not really something that's just going to, like I mentioned, those like long burn qualities. It's not just going to be like something like that, like happens and takes off really quick and then is over just as quickly as it started. This is very much long term. And I do think part of it is that they would want to see you give certain green lights to them before they started to actually take any initiatory kind of action towards you. So that's really everything that I have for you today, group 3. Hopefully this is helpful to you all in some way. Very much love on your journey. Thank you for joining me here. If my readings resonate with you and you haven't subscribed, definitely do. Otherwise, like really great ways that you can support the channel is just like and comment and engage with the content. But otherwise, take care of yourselves and I'll see you in another one. Bye. Okay, welcome in group 4 if you chose the Lithium Quartz, and this is going to be your group reading today on what's happening in love. And I just wanted to start off group 4 by saying, if you already felt drawn to group 3 as well, this could be confirmation for you that there's like a message in there, something for you or something overlapping in that quality. But as always, if you're like drawn into another group, don't doubt your own intuition. It is very possible that you could fall into more than one group in any given pick a card reading. Okay, so the very first thing that I had is we have already had Sagittarius showing out for today's reading. So just take what resonates. It doesn't have to be a placement that you have in your chart. It can just be more representative of the qualities here in like yourself and things that you've experienced that we're having come through. So we're kind of starting off with like a 5 of Pentacles energy. So it could have been the things falling apart, or it could have been trying to keep things together and kind of like struggling with that, like not having like a time of being unable to change your circumstances in some way. But with the Sagittarius, it kind of asks us to, like with the Temperance, to believe in ourselves, to understand that we are the alchemists of our own lives, and that there is a way in which we can at least navigate like these situations in the most tempered, balanced way that we possibly can. And so sometimes like part of what like the greater lesson here might be, which I promise you we will get to like the love side of this very shortly, but sometimes like going through these hard times is the biggest test or testament to who we are and how we handle it. And it's like not to throw shame in the parts of like in our face, in the parts of those moments that are very messy or very hard to handle. And I think it can really push you and show you your limits, in which like, I guess on a scale, we can kind of operate like going from one extreme to the other, and over time finding our balance within ourselves. And the more that we get used to navigating situations like that. So part of this here is also like recognizing like how strong that you are and the grit and determination that you have, and how you are self-directed, and that freedom. There's something here about like freedom's obviously very important, but the ability to make your own choices and whatnot, being self-governed, but also recognizing that maybe you don't necessarily want to be tied down, and that's going to be very dependent for every person that comes through. But I feel like it's less about wanting to be tied down and maybe more about being tied down with the right person, if that makes sense. Okay. So I just have to say, some of you could have like recently come out of a relationship, or a relationship that could be making you feel a little bit isolated, or like you're actually not having needs met, or you're going without something. If this is not currently happening, it's like maybe something that you've not long come out of. And this person could be a person who is actually quite strong, could be a little bit hard-headed, may not necessarily recognize another's truth at the equal level that they would recognize their own truth. And that's okay, to sort of see that and to make a decision there on how we move forward. There's also, so we literally have the crossroads after that, and the death card, which can be like the letting go or letting things die. Sometimes can be like severing cords that we have, energetic attachments as well. And this doesn't necessarily have to be with a person. This actually could be something that we do to ourselves. I just need to throw that out there for some people. For most of you, I feel like this is maybe more about a relationship. But we also have like the Eight of Swords. So think about this relationship that could have made you feel very like anxious or confined within expectations, or kind of small or a little bit degraded or chipped away at in some sense. Or it could have just kept you in your head, or there could be some sense of like having negative self-talk that has, however that's come about, whether it's from this person or not, has kept you kind of blind to your own value and sovereignty here in some way. So we'll take some more cards and get through. I actually did not read out the channel messages that I had written down for group 4 that I did before starting the video today. So we'll quickly go through that, and that will probably touch on themes here that hopefully will help string it together. Anything that I mention here for this particular bit, it's not necessarily going to resonate for everyone, although it could touch on themes that kind of do. So we have still healing. Could touch on conditions such as like CPTSD, BPD, anxiety, depression, or just a need to take care of yourself at this point in time. Let others experience the consequence of their own actions and don't take it on yourself. There's a question mark around unhealthy dynamics and codependency, but being soft with yourself and allowing yourself to self-soothe. And I don't know what that looks like for you. It's not necessarily, like we did touch on codependency and unhealthy dynamics. So I'm not saying using something as a way to self-soothe. If this feels very much like if you're very upset, it's okay for you to cry and be very upset. And if someone else doesn't like seeing you very upset, that's like their own problem. It's okay for you to be very upset. So yeah, that this feels like kind of maybe new territory to you, or maybe like the first time that we're recognizing a different part of our experience, that this feels like growth. It feels like you've maybe like already chopped out one layer, and now so you like take a step on to the next like higher layer, and then you're like already working on that. It's like this is very much like the unconditioning, the deconditioning, the like undoing the conditioning of maybe parts of our life or something like that. Maybe like it's the undoing of unhealthy habits that we have had for a long time, or okay, so just had the phone cut out. It's just happened like a couple of times today, but we are getting there. I just think it's sometimes this stuff is we get a little bit off track, or it's a bit yeah, maybe we're touching on subjects that like are not necessarily always the helpful part, even if it is still part of our story. But as I kind of laid out these cards, I was getting something about there definitely could be someone in your ear that could be causing a little bit of like confusion or creating doubt or something like that here as well. And it is really important that you just find the fire within yourself, and that you are self-governed, and that you make your own decision, and that you look for the things in your life that really light you up, that like really drum up that version of passion, or what it is that like really motivates you or inspires you in life. All right, so it's like you're making decisions for you in your life that are true to who you are and what you want, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says or thinks, and it's okay for you to like allow yourself to move through any uncomfortable thoughts or processes that you may have in terms of an inner critic or other people's expectations or anything like that. And that maybe this will be the key for you to experience a shift in perception here that you may not have been previously like privy to, that could really illuminate something about the dynamics that have played out in the past. And you could be a little bit prone to reminiscing about some of the, I don't know, I guess like past relationships or a time when things were simpler or something like that. It could be a specific person. Like you could have had like one relationship when you were younger that you like always look back at, and it kind of reminds you of like the things that you would kind of want out of a relationship as well. I wouldn't say to ignore it, because I think there is like kind of like a healthy quality to it, as long as we're not like really comparing our partners to them. But I guess it is like a standard guidance for, you know, what you want in life. Like, you know, what brings you happiness, you know, what brings you fulfillment, you know, what feels supportive to you because you have kind of had something like that before. As long as we're not like making all our decisions kind of based off just that. Yeah, I think the strongest thing here I can mention, or the most important thing, is like you making your decisions based off what you want in life. Okay. All right, so what else do we have here for group 4? I feel like we need to take more cards, but okay, so just a reiteration that we had Scorpio, we now have like Pisces and Pluto and Neptune all here. Okay, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. So we have like fixed signs, so Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo, as well as Scorpio. And we also have the Hangman again. Yeah, there definitely could be something here that it's like we're needing that helping hand or that redirection from spirit, or there's like a wild card or something here that's like unaccounted for. And I just think it's going to be quite eye-opening to whatever it is, and that you may be being asked to kind of observe or allow yourself time and space to be able to just see how things feel and what you think about them. And you may notice like a shift in perspective as you go. Okay. Is there anything else here that we have for group 4? Because we're really looking at like what's happening in love. Okay, so, all right, now we have all the water signs showing out. So we have like 3 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, and Cancer with the Chariot. So, I think a focus on like fun, supportive relationships or feel-good relationships, and making sure that we're showing up every day doing exactly what it is that we need to and putting the work in over time will really help us like in that kind of making our own decisions. Maybe like at times you may feel torn into, but this is really going to help you push past that in a really positive way to continue to move forward as well. So is there anything else here that we have for group 4? No. All right. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys in some way. And I wish you all the best, and I hope that you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in another one. Bye.